And April, you could start once you see the timer.
Yeah.
And I'll be going on. Oh, I don't know why I did that. Hold on. 25. All right. All right. And you could go.
Jerome, it's so nice to see your face. Haven't seen you in weeks, and I hope everything is going well with your summer.
Yes. Likewise, April. It has been, like I was saying, a month of Sundays. So it is
That's
good.
right.
Yes, it is good to see your smiling face as
I
well.
know.
We went, we've done some work together. We've done
That's
some work
right.
together. So
Yeah.
it is good to see you. So yeah, so my summer's done. My summer is over. But I did a lot of good work over the summer. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling refreshed. I'm feeling ready to start the year. This summer was the summer of transitions for me. So I transitioned to a new school. My personal life, I made some transitions. I'm in a space where I'm my number one focus. I put myself first. Um, in my 44 years on this earth, it's the first time I've ever done it, and it feels really good. As even like I've made sure I've taken care of my health. You know what I mean? I've made appointments that I've putting off. Speaking of that, I go in for surgery tomorrow. I have a hernia, but it's something I've been putting off for years.
Hmm.
But I'm happy. I'm excited to be going, to have this surgery done so that I could, move past that as well and just get on to, continued, healthy living.
I
So I'm
love that.
excited.
I love that you're putting yourself first, that you um are leaning into the things that you need, that benefit you. And I hope that you keep that going. Um, and as far as what you want to be coached on today, tell me, what is top of mind? What do you want to cover?
Um, just continuing to exercise that self-care. Even when, I'm getting back into the mix of work. But in doing so, I told you I made some transitions. So now I'm actually I'm 3 miles from my school. So that cut my commute down from, 45 minutes to an hour to 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So that has me excited about work because I have much less transition time, and I can repurpose that 45 minutes that I was using to drive to invest in myself, which I've made a commitment to continue going to the gym, before I go to work, and I can do that now as well because I'm so close to work and I have that's less of a commute. Um, so what I'd like to talk about today is I've had a lot of coaching over the summer on, building these healthy habits and utilizing these effective strategies. So I just want to continue that. Um, so using this opportunity just as a way to name that, you know what I mean? To say that, to name that's what I want, um, and to continue to establish these routines and these structures to be able to, to do that.
Yeah. So it sounds like you are um, totally vested in keeping down this path of self care and self focus.
Mhm.
And you already have strategies and ways that you've been leaning into it, but you're looking to really, what's the word? Embed those even more into your life. Is that basically what you said?
That's spot on. Absolutely. And I love the word embed because when you embed something, it becomes a part of your, you know what I mean? Yeah, it becomes a part of your regular. So no, I love that terminology. Thank you for naming that. That's good. Embedding
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what it looks like at the moment for you, as you've started to use these new strategies to support your new habits?
It looked a lot like keeping me at the center. You know what I mean? Like, I think focusing on Jerome Neal, you know what I mean? The man that, you know what I mean? And not these other areas in which, you know, I was trying to live up to these expectations that came with these titles. So it's nice to just be me, you know what I mean? And just living my, you know, my truth, and really be comfortable there. So what does that look like? That looks like going about life unapologetic. You know what I mean? In like all aspects. Yeah, man, just yeah, it's a lot. But yeah, it's good. It's just because I guess it's because as I share, you know, I'm showing up as my authentic self in all these different spaces. And I guess I'm not telling you what space where I'm sharing from. So that could be a little hard to put into context. But as far as uh, work, what that looks like is healthy boundaries. I'm now part of a new team. I got a good vibe when we met. We've been meeting this week. There's good energy. I'm on a team of, you know, everybody rolls up their sleeves. Everybody's a doer. You know what I mean? And I'm all about working side by side with folks. So that has me excited. But also putting those boundaries in place. You know what I mean? Like, so because I am so close to work, I've made my mind up is that I'm going to leave work at work. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to leave work at work. And that's something that I'm really, you know, really going to make a reality this year. You know what I mean? Barring emergencies, but things that I can do that need to get done, I'm going to get done during that time span. Structuring my time, being intentional with my schedule. These are all things that I've discussed this summer. And as I was working on my schedule with my team, it was all coming. It was flowing. Everything has a place. So now it's just I have the roadmap. I just got to follow it.
So it sounds to me like this is a emerging habit then. It sounds like it's one that you're putting into practice.
Yeah.
So like tell me more about this kind of boundary setting and this I know it sounds like I got a visual of like a clock. Like
Okay.
when the timer runs to 0, whatever it is done, and like, you know, you're leaving work.
Yes.
Um, what do you feel like it's going to take for you to really maintain that boundary that you spoke about? Because I also get the sense, because this is a new habit, this is new.
Yeah.
Like this is not something that you've practiced in the past.
No, that's accurate. That's accurate. Well, you know, talking about the transition. So I'm in a space now where I can do that, where it's just me. You know what I mean? My son is with his mother. They're together. So it's like I don't have anybody to be responsible for but me. So I can put, you know, you know, when time is allows. I do spend time with my son, and that time is allotted for. But outside of that time, it's me. So my focus has been me and him. That's been my focus. Um, but as far as work, I never had a schedule. I used to let the day dictate what I was going to do. I'm no longer going to allow that to happen, because another thing that I set out this summer to rid from my life was doubt, doubt and procrastination. And I realized that I was procrastinating getting things done because I was doubting my abilities. I'm no longer doubting my abilities. I know that I'm able. I know that I can do it. So again, it's an entire like mind shift, like all the way around. I spent 44 years doing for all these other people and things that I was neglecting myself. And it feels really good to put my energy into me. You know what I mean? And to see what I so you say about these boundaries, like I really like how I feel. I really like this, Jerome. Like I really, really do. Um, and I'm the happiest I've ever been. I've shared this. I've never made more money in my life and lived more simply. Like I was saying, it's just me. I mean, I have a 1 bedroom apartment. It's probably 500 square feet, but I'm the happiest I've been in my entire life. And so I'm a very simple person. I'm a very simple person.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure that that's what you asked me, but that's what was on my heart, April.
Yeah, it did, because um you you almost had this glow about you when you talked about the happiness that you're feeling,
Mhm.
and pairing that with your talk about setting this new kind of boundary and system makes me wonder, um what does what is it about your new simple life that is helping you maintain this boundary that gives you so much joy?
Again, showing up as my authentic self unapologetically. I think for so long I shrunk myself to make other people feel comfortable in a litany of spaces. You know what I mean? In so many spaces. Um, because I was trying to fit into the mold of which I thought this is what you have to do for success. This is what success looks like. And I was trying to force, and I've realized through different coaching, meeting different brothers, you know what I'm saying, to build and like that's not it. You know what I'm saying? Success is what you make it. You know what I mean? And I've never been more successful and more happy by just really showing up as myself and unapologetic about it and not walking around on eggshells trying to make everybody else comfortable. You know what I mean? So that's what's going to keep these boundaries for me, because I don't want to get back to those bad habits where, you know, I'm allowing situations and circumstances to suck the life out of me. I'm not going to do that anymore. I've taken control of what is in my sphere of control, and it feels good. And I'm not allowing anything like this is protected. I'm not letting nothing penetrate. You know what I mean? This is protected space right here. Because I'm in a spot where I mean I've never been. I've never been. This summer of 2024, man, was something. Yeah.
No, I appreciate that, brother Neil. It is so much that you're sharing, and like I
Mhm.
said, I've said this in other spaces. There's a glow and a lightness that you hold currently at this time, and definitely want to lift that up. I think it comes from all this hard work.
Mm.
Um, but you've been able to name these beliefs such as doubt and procrastination that you've been rumbling with this whole summer, and really combating that habit that you have. Um, and how you showed up in your personal and your workspaces, as far as like um, moving in a way where you put others first and yourself second or last, and now you're in this newness where you flip the script on that, and you find joy from that space, and making a commitment to carry that into the fall, into you know these ongoing transitions. And so um, yeah, I'd love to hear more about maybe tell me what this fall looks like, in the sense of when the challenges come, because they will come. Um, how do you, how will you continue to show up unapologetically, and hold these boundaries and reserve your joy?
Well, I'm going to definitely write about it, journal, journal my experiences, journal my feelings. I'm trying to build that habit of journaling, but I'm definitely going to use it as a as a um as a support when I'm going through these tough times. Like being by myself, I'm not going to have, not all the time somebody to talk to. You know what I'm saying? So being able to get those feelings out in real time, you know what I'm saying? So journaling, but not so I digress. I say I'm not going to have anybody, here with me all the time because I live by myself, but I do have, a really good support system. You know what I'm saying? I have, I'm a part of the Black Educators or the Black Leaders Think Tank. I'm sorry, the Black Leaders Think Tank at my job. So I was last year was my first year, so I'm going into my second year with that. So I'm really excited. We build 4 times a year. We get together quarterly for like 4 hours, and it's all nothing but Black men. You know what I mean? And so that's something built into my school year. Also, I have a friend and been very, very supportive, super, super resourceful, somebody I can lean on. And they've really, really been helpful in this time as well. And like I said, and just knowing my biggest worry was how my son was going to take this. You know what I'm saying? But through open conversation, I know it's not easy, but we've developed, or we've established, not developed, we've established that he knows that there's no question he can't ask me. There's no bad question. I'll answer any question that he has. And just to continue to check in on him, you know what I'm saying, to make sure he's good. So the first couple of weeks were really, really hard. Not seeing my son every day, but I've kind of gotten used to that now, or accustomed to it, not used to it. I've adjusted. I haven't gotten used to it. I've adjusted. And I'm in a better place with that. But yeah, so those tough times. And when it gets really bad, Randy, I FaceTime him. You know what I'm saying? Like we talk, we text, but when I really need to dial in, I'll FaceTime him. And I'm like, yo, I need to see your face. I need to see your face. But most importantly, he asked me, am I still going to come to he plays the trumpet. Am I going to come to see him play trumpet? And so he just wanted to make sure that his dad wasn't going away. You know what I'm saying? And I assured him of that. I let him know, just because your mom is not my wife doesn't mean you're not my son. So, and we're clear on that. We're clear on that. So that's big. As far as work, I shared that. How I'm staying plugged in and connected there. I joined a new team. I said my principal's super supportive. My colleague, my co-worker, assistant principal is on the same page. So I mean, I feel like all the work that I did this summer, the universe has opened up a space for me to be able to begin to walk in this. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it's put me in a spot, because if I did all this work and I walked into the same school that I was at last year, it wouldn't have worked, because the school was on fire. I'm now coming into a school that is already healthy. You know what I'm saying? I can just bring my expertise and add to what is already good and help us go from good to great. Whereas I don't have to lift this school that was falling apart. You know what I mean? While everybody else is just sitting back and watching. So like I said, the universe really showed up for me in a big way, man. Like I said, I've gone through a lot of transition this summer. But I'm a firm believer. We talk, in different spaces, Randy, about energy. You know what I mean? And it's everything is aligning. Everything is aligning.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that in you, like I said, and I acknowledged earlier, and I appreciate you walking through, um, some of these strategies and habits that you have in being able to hold your joy when challenges come in this fall, in the work, in the professional space. But I wanted to fall back. You had mentioned that you're working on a habit of journaling. Tell me more about what working on it looks like.
I have a journal.
Or
All right, I have a journal. That's the first step, right? I got the book. It's here. You know what I mean? I don't have to go out and buy it. It's actually in my physical space. Um, Now, like I said, I'm not a big writer. You know what I mean? Writing is not a big thing for me, but I do understand the power of writing. So though it's not something that I have done in the past or have leaned heavily into, I do recognize the benefits. So much similar to when April was asking me, like, you know, how are you going to continue this? Or, what does that look like? It was like how it made me feel is how I'm going to be able to establish these boundaries because I feel really good. So again, I have written some things out. I have expressed myself in written form. And I do know, you know what I mean, what that does for me. So I just have to be more consistent. And I want to
well,
use it
let's
more. Yeah, and I can't. So I think right now I'm using it as like a life, like as an emergency lifeline, not necessarily as a daily situation.
okay.
So it's like my oxygen mask that comes down from the airplane.
I'm curious. I want to dig into that a little bit more, but also want to fall back and give you props that you have the journal. That's the beginning of the journey. I
Thank
know
you.
we've talked about this a little bit, so I know there's a half-baked goal right now of habit stacking with your morning routine and your coffee. Um,
Yes.
and so maybe we can lean into that a little bit more. But I also want to like unpack this thing that you just mentioned, right? It sounds like a weight that you're holding, right? That currently you're using it as your oxygen mask, your
Mhm.
emergency versus a
Yeah.
place to be something else. I don't know, whatever that place is that you need. And so I'm
Right.
curious, like, why are you holding it that way? And what would it look like for you to turn it into a place that is an extension of your joy or these feelings of accomplishment or commitment to self?
I just honestly, I just think my personal history with writing. You know what I mean? I didn't
Say
grow up
more.
a
What do
writer.
you, okay.
I didn't, you know what I mean? Like I wrote when it was required. You know what I mean? I wasn't one of those kids that just went and wrote off on your own and, did your own thing. Like I wrote when the teacher said you had to turn something in, there was something due. Um, and associated with that is like grading and markings, and I wasn't the best writer.
Right.
You know what I mean? So maybe that may have something to do with it, but like I said, that wasn't my avenue as a child and as a young adult. Even in college, I wasn't a big writer. I wrote what I had to, but like I said, I have as an adult experienced the power of writing. You know what I'm saying? And when I say the power, it's like it's multifaceted, man. When you're thinking you have a feeling or an emotion, and then there's like the actual writing it down. Like it's the mechanics. Like there's a lot there, and then that's kind of how I look at the writing process. So when you ask me like why don't I use it as a day to day, because other than a life using it as an oxygen mask, I'm out here living my best life. You feel me? So you know what I mean? So only when I feel those emotions coming is when I like, let me get to this. Because otherwise, I mean, I don't want to end up on the news. So it's
Right.
like, let me go ahead and put this pen to pad. So
I got you. No, I appreciate you breaking that down. And I think you named something really important that is a theme that goes back to some other spaces we've been able to talk about as far as like your childhood and these
mhm.
ideas that you held. And again, you naming that, what your relationship with writing has looked like, which has been, um, a little bumpy, hasn't been a space of freedom and um, joy.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm curious, and really looking at that, you've been able to name the power of it and recognize the process of it. Have you considered other modalities of writing? Like you can journal like without actually writing. You can just record yourself. You could video journal, you could blog journal. Have you considered anything like that? And would you like how does it make you feel when you think about that you could do the same thing in a different modality and do those. Sound attractive?
Yeah, it does actually. It does. And I've thought about it. I just I haven't acted on it. I don't know why. But yes. Even like taking notes, like, you know what I mean? Like when I need to, put stuff on a sticky note that, I'll fall off or lose or whatever the case may be, but having actually a voice memo in my phone. My phone is, I just never have gotten into the habit of taking it out or gotten into the space of taking it out, recording myself and keeping it moving. But again, this is a new year. This is a new year. Like I have a schedule. You know what I mean? I definitely, so that's I'm already ahead of the game. But also I want to be able to recap my days. Because again, I told you last year, I let the day dictate how it was going to go. I didn't go in with a plan because I knew the shit was going to be on fire and I was just going to be running around with a fire extinguisher all fucking day. So that's kind of how I went to work. Like, what do I have a plan for? Because my plan is going to be out the window anyway, because shit's going to hit the fan. So, but now I don't have that feeling. The school is, like I said, not on fire. So again, I think I have done the work. I have the tools. I think now I'm going to have the space that I'm going to be able to utilize it. I really do. So they are in my tool belt. They are in my tool belt. Whereas I think before they weren't. Barry, what's good? You muted, King. You muted.
I should be an expert at this by now. I keep stepping on that. I'm doing good, but you're doing great. I'm loving the energy. I feel like you feel liberated to me right now. Like it's
Oh,
like
that's a good word. That's a good word, Barry. Liberated. That's real. That's real.
Yeah, I'm just loving this glow on you. And what keeps coming to mind for me, and I'm wondering what your thoughts are on this, is like now that you're in this new clear headspace, right? And obviously there's some refinement to happen, right? But like what you have your North Star. You kind of know like I need to center myself. Like I'm at the center of all things. What's next for you? Like what do you think? Like how do you take obviously you want to keep digging into yourself, but what are some other personal goals that you have for yourself now that you have this new outlook on life?
Um, Really digging deep into my craft, digging deep into the teaching and learning. Like really now having time, space, and energy to put into classroom observations where I'm not running around all day putting out fires. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it's just let me tell you something. The northwest of the city, man, it's just a whole different energy out here, man. It is. It's a different energy out here. And for those of you that are on the call, I told you I transitioned. I'm now in Barry's neighborhood. So
Man,
it's a whole different energy out here, Barry, and I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. That's also has been a huge impact. You know what I mean? Just locale and just the vibrations of the community. You know what I mean? Like Mount Airy is a special place, man. It's
yeah.
a special place.
I just love that, man. It feels like you got your superpower, and I'm just wondering, like, what you gonna do with it. You got some amazing things ahead of you. That's what it feels like right now. Um, so it sounds like you want to use this extra capacity, these extra abilities, this like stuff to like really become sharper in your profession, like as a school leader. Is that what I'm
Yes.
hearing?
Yep.
All right. All right. Where do you feel like you can like see evidence of that? Like, so you said it's going to be in like the way you coach. Where else might you see that show up in the school setting?
Um, the way I show up, you know what I'm saying? Just as myself. You know what I mean? Not shrinking down, being comfortable in, you know what I mean? Yeah, just being comfortable in who I am and what I can bring to the table. And not trying to fit into somebody else's mold. You know what I mean? And it's like, and if it don't gel between us, I'm okay with that now. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with that now because I'm okay with that. Whereas before, I would be looking in the mirror like, oh, what did I, you know what I mean? Nah, I'm not. All right, well, I know what I got, man. You know what I mean? You're not afraid to eat dinner by yourself, man, when you bring in tomahawk steaks to the table. You feel me? So that's where I'm at with it now. No more Salisbury, Barry. No more
Yeah,
Salisbury steaks, baby.
dude, I need to bottle whatever you have right about that. I just love your attitude. I love your spirit and where your head is at right now. Is there, and from listening to earlier parts of the conversation, it seems like the school community is a fit and that collaborative environment, right? But it's still early, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like it's only August.
Right.
Like just thinking ahead and not to create problems or to like, premonition or anything like that, but like, is there anything that might derail where you are? Is there something like, is there anything that could derail this energy that you have for your job right now?
Anything that could derail the energy. Now, as we all know, in work, there's good days and bad days, ups and downs. So I feel like the job is going to be the job. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to allow the job to dictate how it impacts me. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to take it all on. You know what I mean? Like I used to just wear it and wear it and wear it. Now I'm going to do what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? Give it my all. You know what I mean? And leave it there. And then come back tomorrow and pick it up and do it again. Whereas I think before I would just I would allow other, I mean, you're an administrator, you know how it is. People get in your ear, you know what I mean? Then you realize, everybody has a motive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it is. It's just and again, like my thing, man, is just transparency, Barry. Like I just
Yeah.
can be transparent. So I'm excited to be joining. I'm gonna be in charge of 18, new teachers that I've never met before. You know what I mean? I'm coming in with this energy. I'm coming in with this demeanor. I'm coming in with this positivity. And it is my desire that it catches on. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I said, I understand that the challenges are going to come. But I know that as far as like school climate, it's nowhere where I came from. You know what I'm saying? It's nowhere. Like I came from wherever Joe Clark was at. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm at like a real school. You know what I mean?
Hi.
Yeah, like where kids really want to learn. So it's not that they didn't there, but it just was not set up for that. It wasn't conducive for that. And I did everything that I could, and I was burning out. I was burning out, man. So I'm excited for this new opportunity. But more importantly, Barry, what's going to keep this energy up is because, like I was sharing with Randy, is through the Messy Roots Coaching Academy, I've developed all these other tools, man. I've got all these other tools now that I can utilize when working with my teachers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think that's just having an approach, having a framework, you know what I'm saying, when I'm talking to my teachers. It's not loose anymore. You know what I mean? I know I have a framework to stay within. And I know how to drive the conversation now, which is, I was just going off of my personality in the past, and it worked for, you know what I mean, but I wasn't getting the results that I was looking for. But like I said, we took the pills classes together. We took the Act 13. So all of this training, Barry, we going in 24, 25 doing the thing. We are. You were in the same classes I was in, Barry.
Yo, I'm loving this, man. Like your peace of mind right now feels bulletproof. Like I don't think there's anything that's going to get through that.
I appreciate
So
it.
yeah, like and I'm loving it. Like I'm personally loving it. I want to know how we can make these conversations beneficial to you because we've sort of climbed this one mountain. It seems like you're at the summit now, but there's always another mountain to climb. So how can we, make these conversations even more productive for you? What else is on your to-do list?
Honestly, just embedding these new habits and routines is what I'm going to be focused on when I check back in on my on my post visits and my future coaching sessions. But yeah, just making sure that now that I have these new tools, just checking in, and so just having conversations around when have you had to use them, and if so, when. Let's talk about that, and what did that look like. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I feel like I'm going to be coming from a much more informed and prepared, stance than I was before. I felt like I was fighting backwards last year. Like I was walking backwards. Now I got my Terrence Crawford on now. You feel me? Got my Bud Crawford on.
You done stepped up in weight class.
Yes, I stepped up in weight class. Really went down in weight class, but I'm cool with that too.
That's cool.
Yeah, I
And
was happy to go down to weight class, honestly.
when I think about embedding something, I feel like it requires like consistency, and just repetition and discipline. So I believe that the service that or the support that I can provide for you is sort of being your accountability partner because we got the tools, we have the mindset. You know what I'm saying? So now it's just a matter of just consistency and applying that. So I think as we continue to chat, it will be like, well, tell me about how you're journaling. Is that something that you're actually doing? And you said earlier in the call that your journaling is triggered. Like it's like, okay, I know I need to go journal. Is there a way to make that like an everyday practice where you start your day or maybe end your day with reflection?
Yes, 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 there is. And ironically enough, I built it into my professional work. So I start my day with office hours, meaning that I'm going to be in my office for 45 minutes before the kids come. And I end my day the last 45 minutes after we send off the last kid. So that gives me an opportunity built into my schedule to be able to have space for that. So again, um, I mean, if I'm getting paid for journaling, shit, I might journal. You know what I mean?
Like,
Meaning, because I'm on the clock, right? And it's going to benefit me for sure. So no, and those were ways that, like I said, I know myself. So by building that time in the beginning and the end, it's like you're gonna get it in somewhere. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I would like I said, I want to make that a habit. So I'm gonna definitely look to do that with either of those spaces, some of that time anyway. I'm also working with my brother Randy on blocking. So the
mhm.
fact that I just have blocked out some office hours, I can do with that space what I need. So that's going to be one of those things. Again, just building on the good brothers of Messy Roots, man.
There we go. All right. Well, I think we have a little bit of a game plan
And
in place.
sisters, I'm sorry, and
Oh,
sisters. We
yeah.
got in the building.
Can't do nothing without those sisters.
Not at all. Not at all.
And so it sounds like we have sort of a good something, things are working. So let's just
Yes.
keep the momentum going. I'd like to circle back with you soon. When's a good time for us to reconnect?
Um, well, I'm going into surgery tomorrow, so I was going to give myself a 3-week window to just get myself back together. I'm gonna be doing things behind the scenes, watching that game film. You know what I'm saying? I have plenty of time. I'll be laid up, so be watching that game film, doing that. But so after that 3 weeks, though, I think I'll be ready to get back on camera.
All right. Can I give you a homework assignment?
Yes, sir.
So while you're laid up and you got all this free time, I want you to think about how you can maximize this superpower that you have right now. Because you're using it for school, which is great. But what else can you do that really challenges you to further embed the superpower that you have in different and exciting ways? Not just for work, but for you and for other places you want to have impact. Sound like
Absolutely. I appreciate that.
awesome.
Thank you, Barry.
Wow. This is so good. I mean, really thoroughly amazing. Like all three are just blew it out of the water. I mean, it started off with April like probing it and just making sure that Jerome was very clear at what he wanted to get out of the coaching conversation, which I thought was really, really awesome. And she came in a little bit with a handicap because she hasn't never coached Jerome one-on-one like Randy and Barry had. So like they kind of cheated a little bit because they were able to rely on conversations they've had in one-on-one conversations. But you could tell, regardless though, that there was a rapport with everyone. And I thought that was really, really, really beautiful. Randy literally the reflector. I always like to call him that as his superpower and his gift. But really being strong and concise and tight with your words was really, really dope. To be able to see, which I mean, literally during this time, normally when you're coaching, it's like 50-50 where you're talking and the coach is talking. This time, it was literally the first time I've ever seen like an 80-20 situation with you where you were like really concise with your words, but still deep in reflection and allowing that coachee to strongly reflect. And Barry, for you to be able to go back and to utilize all of the things that April and Randy was discussing. One, it talks about the attention that you had while you were waiting, right, in a holding pen, waiting to go. Which oftentimes, sometimes the ending could be the hardest because you really are kind of leaning on to based off of how the first two had started. But going right in there, utilizing the relationship that you had with Jerome was super, super strong and amazing. You really could tell that you were leaning onto previous coaching conversations, which was great. Not only that, you utilize the things that were mentioned already in both of the coaching conversations that he had with April as well as Randy. I thought that that was very, very great how you drew that out. But again, April started it off really, really strong, getting Jerome comfortable, which isn't hard, but it's still, you're like an easy person to coach. And also, one of the things I thought that was dope that April did, and we'll allow everybody else to also speak, but one of the things I thought that April did was not digging deep into where Jerome did not want to go, right? He was like, he said, like, I'm telling you, I'm not saying something that I really want to focus in on, but I haven't really said it yet. He said something to the effect in a conversation, and traditionally somebody would be, oh, why you haven't said it? Well, what is the situation, right? Instead, April was like, no, we're gonna keep this safe. You know what I mean? If he want to say it, share it, he will share it. Instead, we're gonna, focus on the things that he is comfortable with sharing, if it was a comfortability thing. But like, or it could have been a concise thing, right? Like, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. I really want to focus on this one. But I really thought that that was that showed maturity in your coaching, which was really, really great. But yeah, any thoughts that come to mind, Jerome? How did you feel
No,
about the coaching
I
conversation?
want to
Anything?
say thank you. I thought like, it's carousel coaching is can be,
Yeah.
can be a challenge. And thank you for lifting up Mario. Yes, I've spoken to these brothers extensively in the
Yes.
background. So, April was, but there was a comfortability there because we know each other. You know what I mean? We were on the same
Mhm.
team. We would get
Yep.
those 10 minutes every week. So
Yes.
we did build, you know what I'm saying? We
Yes.
did
We
build.
Yes.
went deep a couple times during
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
10 minute slots.
Minutes. No, for sure. For sure. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And again, I mean, but April, I'm sure like she's the first one to say, I can see a glow. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep.
Because she's also the one that hasn't seen me in so long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's seen me in a different space and I was in a whole different headspace. You know what I'm saying? As we were
Yeah.
going through this journey. But now I mean, I can see clearly now. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Okay.
like, and it's for real, for real. So, and I
That's
thank you
perfect.
for lifting that up because sometimes, like I feel it, you know what I mean. But I like to see now that it's actually
Yeah.
you could it's observable. You know what I
That's
mean? It's observable. So thank you for that. And then Randy, Randy just Randy doing Randy, like you know what I'm saying. Just but again, you're right. I had a lot to say. I was talking a lot, and
I thought
every
that was
coach gave me the
great.
space. They all gave me the space, but
Yep.
they were able, and like only as Randy can do, in
Yeah.
all of that you're giving him, he's pulling out. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like you said, he was
Yes.
very concise with his
Yes.
words and with his responses. So I
Yeah.
appreciated that as well. And then my brother Barry, man, he tied it all together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Was able
Very
to, like you
good.
said already, Mario, build on what April and Randy were working with me on and talking me through, and then just asking me like, where are you going to take this now? You know what I mean? Now what? He hit me
Yes.
with, you know what I mean? Now what?
Yes.
And he noticed, the emotional change and all of
Mhm.
that. So no, this was
Mhm.
good, man. This was good. Again, I didn't know where I was going to go today. Like
It's
I
always that.
he told me I was going to be the coachee. I laughed because I was like, I'm really in a good space, man. I usually been using these Jones as like to get me up, but I'm up now.
Yeah.
I'm up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm all the way up. And
Okay. Okay, hallelujah. Okay. Because
so,
that is coaching for real though, because like I mean seeing a sequence of coaching too from you. I mean that's what happens within it. And I like coaching for general maintenance too. Like I go to my coach, I'll be like this I am in a good space. Like I just want to know like are there any gaps that I'm not seeing for me to continue along with this and to go from good to great. And what I saw all three of them do was like, how can we maintain this? And how can we take this to the next level, right? Like, I mean, Barry's last question, what does it look like for this not only to be in your professional life, but also your personal life and in other areas that you could like really, push this in? That was very, very good because again, you're pushing your coachee to go beyond just where they're at, right, in their own thinking, and that's our job as a coach is to see that full picture. Very, very good. Very, very good. Any thoughts that y'all have? Anything that also came up for y'all?
I think, I mean, I don't know about everyone else, but one, it's always great to get a moment where you can see like the, transformation that's taken place. I'm so
Yeah.
happy that your summer has been amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you, April. Thank you.
and
Yeah, thank you.
I think that Mario, you're right. Like, I think the word that you used was you saw like the growth or the like we are mature
Yeah,
coaches,
yeah,
or we, like we
yes.
are
The maturity in your
growing
coaching. Yeah,
as coaches.
yes.
And
Yeah,
like you can really see it.
yeah.
Like I felt like this, we were we we were doing very, very well, y'all. Like we were
Yes, yes,
today.
yes, yes.
um
I say it for you, April. I say it for you. They was doing the damn thing.
we
They
was
was
Okay.
doing the damn thing.
I mean, there's always things that
was
we
so
need to
good.
be better at, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
and I have to be honest, I was coming off of another meeting that was
yeah.
so I felt like I wasn't in my best space to jump into coaching, but feel like I have enough strategies to like, you know,
I
reel
didn't
it
know.
in.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, no, I wouldn't
I
have
didn't
known.
know.
You
But
really,
you did it.
yeah, you came in great. I mean, literally. Yeah, like I think maybe like a cadence, maybe, your traditional cadence was maybe just a little bit missing, but other than that, I mean, again, those are like small little things, that again, a coachee is not gonna notice. I see it because I see your coaching videos. I love watching y'all coaching videos and I see you and your coaching. So I could be able to tell traditional coachee is not gonna be able to see that difference, right? Again, no, y'all did very, very good. This is literally one of the best coaching conversations I've seen. Like it was really like knocked out of the park. It was great. Really, really great.
I'd agree, man. I feel good, guys. Thank you. That was an excellent round. Excellent round.
I think I genuinely just feel good for you, Jerome. Like we've had some conversations and just like seeing
Yeah.
it's just like literally it's on your face. Like I can see like you have an aura about you and you're in this season of like whatever you want to call it. I just want to tease that out as long as it could possibly go. So I feel
Yeah.
like part of the reason I love coaching is like these kind of wins, because this isn't even about the
Yeah.
money. Like I want to see you get to that place and you're there. And I'm like, damn, what do you do with this now? Like you got the magic now. Now what
Yeah.
do you do? So awesome stuff. And
Thank you,
y'all,
brother.
y'all gave me all the kernels. I just kind of had to tether it all together. But
Yeah.
like Mario was saying, it was like y'all did such a good job on the front end, and
Yeah.
then Rome is in a really, really good place that it was kind of, I don't want to say it was easy, but I was like, I kind of know exactly where I would like to go with it. So y'all made it, the two of you, April, Randy, y'all just did such a phenomenal job. It's just like, all right, let me cherry pick the thing that I want to kind of lean into. So thank you for that.
So good. I love that. Love it. Love it. That's so good. Randy, anything before we go there? You're gonna be the coachee. Stop. Yes. We have like 20 minutes, but it's good. Yeah.
Ditto, ditto.
Yeah, it's just good. Yes. And then one of my favorite places too, the library. Randy, you're gonna go first. And then April, you're gonna go second, and then Jerome, you're gonna close. So that's how the sequence is going. To go Randy, then April, and then Jerome. I'm gonna start my timer. It's gonna be at 20 minutes. Let's see if we could, create like more tightness in our coaching. Through doing this and see if it happens. If not, don't stress about the time. I always tell people don't. Obviously, we want to do it on time, but don't stress about that time. If you feel like there's a need to go deep into a specific part, then do so. So Randy, take it from here. You're good to go.
Right. How's it going, Barry? It's good to see you, brother. Haven't seen your face in a while, so it's a pleasure to see you. How you living?
Hey, how you doing, brother? It's a little rainy, so it might remind you of your area of the world. Like it's like torrential downpours out here right now.
That's it's warm over here, man. So yeah, it's like a flip flop, I guess. We got lots of sunshine, no showers on this side, man. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry to range your way, but keep it over there, man.
It's all good. I enjoy it. It's like, sometimes you need that rain to sort of like cleanse. So it feels like all this heat that we've been having is finally time to get some torrential downpour. So I'm good with that.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, shoot, it's been a while since we've been able to check in. So yeah, give me that general check in. How are things going, and what would be helpful for us to talk about today?
Yeah, so there's so many moving parts. I probably, there's family stuff. No, let me first say, like, nothing feels like out of my control, but there's a lot of things that I need to manage, and I'm trying to figure out like what are the things that I should focus most of my attention on. So one, there's been a really big change at my school. So we lost our principal. He's moved on to a new place. And we believe we found the replacement, but it hasn't been publicly announced. So we're kind of in this holding pattern right now before we can really sort of get into the meat of planning for the school year. So I'm in a weird spot because I'm sort of the third in command because we have two assistant principals and then the principal. I'm in this weird spot because we don't have a principal. The other assistant principal that's there with me, she's like 1 foot out the door because she's like, I should have been the principal. So she's out the door. And now it's left to me. But I'm very much a follow the chain of command kind of person. Like I'm here to assist the leader. I have my own ideas on in terms of like what I would like to do. But with this new leader coming in, I don't want to get too far down the road on my own agenda. And then they up in that. So that's probably the most pressing issue. That's like front of mind for me. And then as far as like home life is good. The kids are well. Um, an ongoing challenge that I have, to be truthful with you, is just like finding quality time, me and my wife. Like our lives are so busy professionally and just like raising a family, it's hard to like um find like intimacy in some of the like the chaos of parenting and work. So both are really important. I feel closer to a solution with like my home life stuff. So I think focusing on like how I can sort of lead in the absence of a leader feels like a good place to start.
Okay, yeah, no, I appreciate you sharing all that, and I'm glad to hear that overall you feel in a good place as far as like in control, um, and what you can control. And thanks for basically laying the table for us that you really want to lean into examining, how to explore the work situation and best adjust and prepare for the new principal coming in. So, yeah, I know you kind of named a few things so far. So, what would you like to be true? Like, what would you like to have set up for that person when they come to the door?
I'm a big like, so one of my big sort of must-haves is like transparency. And so my prior school leader, just his leadership style and my, sort of way of being in schools just didn't align. Like I'm very transparent. I want to know what I'm being asked to do. I want to know what my roles and responsibilities are. I also want to know like when I'm off track. You know what I'm saying? I need feedback. I need real-time feedback. And I'm not emotional about that. Like if I'm stinking it up, you let me know. And I'm my own worst critic, so I'm gonna do the work. And I felt like I wasn't getting that. I wasn't getting coached up. I wasn't getting any sort of like feedback on my work product. So that's one. What I would like to be true is that myself and this new school leader, we can like have an opportunity. I can have an opportunity to sort of lay out sort of like my priorities and where I feel like I can impact the school community, sort of in the ways that I have before and what I envision for the future, and just kind of lay out like sort of like who I am as a school leader and what I'll stand on and like my non-negotiables. But sometimes, but I don't know this person's personality. They might take it, I don't want them to take it the wrong way. Like, hey, these are Barry's non-negotiables, right? I don't want to lead like that. I kind of want to come in a little bit less aggressive, but also being well defined. Like, hey, my family really comes first before anything. And I'm gonna break my back while I'm in here. But when I'm out of here, I'm a dad, I'm a father, I'm a community member. Like I have other things that are also important to me. So just really being able to set really clear boundaries and do that in a relaxed setting. And even if I don't get it all across in that one meeting, but just like creating a space where we can have honest and frank conversation and then not feel like I'm like, overly aggressive or I'm like really just like being an adversary. I want you to know what my perspective is.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you breaking that down. And it seems very clear what you want to be true in setting those boundaries and the type of relationship that you want to have with this new person, clarifying your values, right? You named transparency being an important value for you overall, and you also named a need for real-time feedback and coaching, and that you have a non-negotiable in the space of like work, um, compromising family. So one of the things I heard you say is not being aggressive and not doing too much in that first meeting. So what does it look like to maybe like break this into like two, right? Like the non-negotiables. Sounds like that might be the hard spot. So like maybe
Yeah.
what's a plan to break that up? Do you have to do it all in the first meeting?
The way I've found that once the school year gets started, if the principal is not intentional about making time for these kind of conversations, it just doesn't happen. And what I learned, this is only my second year in school leadership. I tried to follow my other principal's lead, and he didn't go anywhere. I'm like, all right, let's go. And we're still in place. And so I don't want that to happen again, because again, I one day would like to run my own school, and I want to be like in the pocket with you. Like I want to, like I like working hard. I like solving difficult problems. I like being in the trenches doing stuff. You know what I mean? And so I don't want us to have that distance. But at the same time, this work is really grueling, and I'm very intentional about like my self-care. Like self-care for me is spending quality time with myself, like just me, or with my family, or with my wife, or my friends. And I'm intentional about that. Like I need time to do that. Like after work, maybe I'll take a day. Like there have been times during the school year where I'm like, I have to take a day because the stuff that we're dealing with kids and things like that can be real heavy on the spirit. And if I don't have that cleanup period, I'm not at my best. And I just want them to understand, like, that's the perspective. Like, I'm gonna work my ass off for this school community and for these young people and for the families. Like, that's not gonna never not be true. But I also have my own family and my own challenges and all those sort of things that are a priority. And I need to strike a healthy balance with that. I think you're on mute.
So sorry. When it comes to this balance you're talking about and um, wanting to make sure that whoever the new leader is like gets what that means, what are like the tangible actions that that person can come to expect?
Mm-hmm. So one is that so I have three children. Two of my daughters go to one school. My one daughter goes to another school. So we typically start at 8:15. So in a perfect world, I would be at work at 7:15. The earliest I can usually get there is like 7:45. And so that hasn't been an issue with my other principal. And I'm not late, I'm just not super early. So holding that as true, like it's a priority for me to be able to take my daughters to their drop off spot. So drop off in the morning and then pick up. My wife, she travels for work like all the time. Like she's on the road like half the week. So I'm responsible for pickup and extracurriculars. So I'm definitely willing to be the late person, but depending on what the extracurriculars are for my daughters, I don't know if I'm willing to compromise that every single day. Like, so for example, last year, my girls were in chess, they were in basketball, like all this extracurricular stuff, and it was on very specific days of the week. So those are the days that I'm just not going to be staying late, right? So I can stay late. I can probably stay as late as like maybe 4 o'clock on certain days of the week. But beyond that, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. So, and then there's this tendency, depending on, like I've heard of other principals just having no limit when it comes to reaching out to you on the weekends, like Saturday or Sunday. Unless it's like an emergency, I'm off the grid. Like Friday at 3:30, 4 o'clock, Barry is like, I'm taking my principal hat off, and now it's full-time dad, family, got, all the things. So my non-negotiables are that kind of like my start of my day and my end of my day have to be set. I'll dig a ditch. I'll do whatever is required during the work hours. But outside of that, I have other professional development things like this coaching course that we're taking, and I'm involved in my community. Like there's other things that I have that are important, and just expressing that to her. And I don't want it to be a competitive thing. It's not that I don't care about the work that we do as school leaders, but I'm a whole person. I'm not just a principal. So, but I would say it would be that, like my start of my day and my end of my day, and just you know don't get comfortable with just peppering me with like menial tasks at like 9 o'clock at night, something that could wait. Because again, like I need a clean out period because the workday is heavy as hell, and I don't want to be thinking about it when I'm with my kids or with my wife.
Mm. What do you know about your new leader in terms of how she would normally handle this balance that you're seeking?
Ooh, man, I don't know much about her, but the little bit that I do know about this person, um, it's really not all good. It's just not all good. So, without going into too much detail, this particular teacher was replaced at her old school, um, because of her handling of a graduation ceremony, right? It was deemed to be it looked like the optics of what she did, and I don't want to go into too much detail because it's still like public, it's still tight, but like how she handled a student during graduation who happened to be an African American student, the teacher is white. The optics of it looked pretty doggone racist. And so she was asked to step down or she resigned from her school. So that tells me, like, from the rip, like, does this woman have the sensitivity to deal with our kids? Like, can you deal with the kid that's going to cuss you out, but still approach that kid with love and give them grace, right? What I've witnessed is that she maybe doesn't, she's kind of set in her ways about, like, she's kind of like hyper rule follower. And if a child comes out of that box, she's kind of like, no, 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 without taking into account, like, you know, like culture, and you know what I'm saying? Like there's just certain things that I think she has a blind spot for certain things. Her temperament around like how she manages her support team, like her staff, I really don't know for certain. Like I don't have any intel on that. The limited interaction I've had with her recently, she definitely seems to have a very strong point of view. And she's not afraid to bump heads with like leadership, like not even me, but like her bosses. And I'm like, I don't think that's necessarily a good sign in terms of like what collaboration might look like or what like boundaries might look like. Because I have very clear boundaries. And then we're married. We're married. Like once she gets into this building, we're gonna be rocking every day. And I don't plan on going anywhere. And so I'm hoping that we can come to an understanding.
Yeah. So you do know some things about this person, but there's also some question marks. So you can only focus on yourself in
Mhm.
terms of next steps and actions, right?
That's correct.
And you've already kind of stated in words
Mhm.
how you need to work in order for you to achieve this balance that you need to feel centered in your life and work.
Mhm.
Have you thought about asking her some of the questions that maybe I've asked you about her work style how she needs, how she gets balance in her life, so that perhaps you could introduce this as a concept.
I like that. I really like that. I like that a lot. I because again, I'm not, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So I like leading in with that. Like, you've been a school leader for all these years. Like, how do you find work-life balance? Because you're a parent, I'm a parent, like, tell me how you find that. Because again, our work is incredibly difficult. So if you're not getting that, if you're not filling up your bucket, if you're not recharging your battery, if you're not restoring yourself back to yourself, I don't know how you do this work. So that's a really valid question. I definitely will ask her that. And I think that sets a certain tone. Like, it's not confrontational. It's just very more like, because she's definitely like the type of person, if you ask her, she wants to tell you about herself. So I'm gonna give her the floor.
And probably most people do, right? And you strike me, Barry, in all the times that we've spoken, that you're a very you value curiosity over judgment. And so I wonder if that is the approach that might center you as you move forward with starting to get to know this person who you might have questions about. But how would you use that curiosity over judgment value set moving forward?
No, that's really, that's a really awesome take. Because I also try to see the best in people. Her track record is pretty muddy right now, but I want to also give her the opportunity to sort of like demonstrate, like, no, I am a person. I'm good for these young people, and I like the idea of like asking probing questions, because that'll help me with my approach. Like, once I understand like who she is as a leader, then I know sort of what route I can take to advocate for myself. Because I'm going to advocate for myself. I guess the thing that I'm worried about is how it might come off, or like, because I don't want anybody to feel like I'm going to be shortchanging kids, because I'm not. But it's, again, like, boundaries are really important for me. And my kids are very young. So I don't get a second chance at, my daughter being 10 again. Right. I don't get a second chance. And if that means that work have to take a back seat so that I can be a full-time present and available dad, I'm just going to do that and not be apologetic about it. I just hope she don't take it the wrong way. But if she does, I mean, we stuck. We're here together. But I do like that approach. I think what I can commit to is using whatever conversations we have, those initial ones at least, is to really, before I like pepper her with my sort of non-negotiables, maybe, like, I really should like take the time to peel back the layers to figure out who exactly this person is, like, what does she stand for, and how our missions align. Start there, and then maybe we can get to a place of like, oh yeah, Barry, it's fine, go ahead and leave. Like, I'm hopeful that she's cool, but I don't know that she's cool like that. So we'll see.
Well, if you were new coming into a school as a leader, what kind of probing questions would you want someone to ask you?
Yeah, so I actually thought about this because I feel like her approach is different than what I would do. Like, because she's all, again, like, not to throw her under the bus, but the announcement hasn't been made, and she's already given us like tasks and things like that. And I'm like, man, we don't even know if you're the person, right? And I'm very much, I would hope that when I come, like, when I have my opportunity, I hope the first thing they ask me is like, what is my vision for this school? What is my North Star? Like, what am I committed to? Why did I pick this school community? And what impact do I hope to have? Like, that's what I would want people to ask me, because because there's going to be times where I'm going to make decisions that you're not going to like, but you'd be like, you know what? These are his non-negotiables. This is the path that we're on together. And this decision connects to that. I don't know what her vision is. I don't know what her, again, I don't want to judge her based on the first time I met her, but she did a lot of talking about how great I am, and how great she is. Like, people love me and people love working for me. I'm like, but I don't know. People that say that, usually that ain't true. And so I would love to know, like, as opposed to like just telling me how great of a person you are, tell me what your passion and commitment for young people are that are growing up in the hood, that are in dangerous environments, and how this place is going to be a safe haven for young people. Now you got my full attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you get the struggle, because the school that where she was considered a magnet school. So the young people that she was working with were probably more academically stronger, better behavior, perhaps. My school, not as academically strong, and we definitely have our climate issues, but we in the thick of it. Like, we in the thick of it. There's shootings, there's all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, this is like, when I think of about a school place, it's a safe haven for young people. It's an institution of higher learning, and we're trying to find the best in our young people and do it to the point where they're ready for high school and college if that's what they want to do. So I need to hear that from her. Um, yeah. So I would hope somebody would ask me that.
Barry, appreciate you sharing there, brother. Appreciate you sharing. So you already laid out your goals of your own. I heard them. You named them. You know what I'm saying? You named them. And I think April, I saw, I saw the I saw the emotional change. I saw the pivot. I saw the pivot because initially when you were sharing, and correct me if I'm wrong, there was a sense of uncertainty, but within that uncertainty, there was a little bit of anger.
Mhm.
I heard anger. I heard anger come through. Is that accurate?
Frustration, probably.
Frustration. Okay, frustration. Better yet. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. Go ahead.
And since you touched that nerve, like, part of that frustration is like the school community actually picked another person to be the principal, and the higher ups literally chose this lady despite teachers wanting somebody different. I wanted someone different, and the woman that we wanted to bring in was already like my partner in crime, like the other assistant principal. She's been there for multiple years. Got, like, if you look at her resume, she's ready. And this person was plugged in because she has a relation, you know what I mean? Like, she's connected.
Got it.
So it wasn't a merit-based decision. It was very much like, hey, we want to put this lady on because she has the right relationships. And that's frustrating because they don't have shit to do with the kids in the building. Like, the kids in the building, they know, like, they need consistency. Like, they need to know what to expect. And now you throw in this curveball, and like I said, the optics, the meat, like, shit is terrible. It's like, oh my God, this is the principal. If parents knew who this lady was, oh man, it'd be like pitchforks and all kinds of stuff. And I don't know if it's justified, but like, her reputation is not,
Right.
it ain't stellar right now.
So I appreciate you sharing and clarifying my word choice. Anger was not there. You're correct. Frustration. Thank you for naming that. And you also shared some things within that. You shared that the school community together came and made a decision, and that decision was overruled by a higher authority, right? Um, not Barry's doing, you know what I'm saying? Not Barry's decision, not in Barry's control. Clearly not in the school panel's decision either. You know, the hiring, the word is escaping me right now.
You was I know where you're going. It was just,
So,
it was very
but I
frustrating.
want to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you got it. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't want to stay there because it sounds like the principal that has been appointed as the new, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
She's already have some hurdles that she has to get over. You know what I'm saying? So I like I like how April had you think about your first formal meeting with the
Mhm.
new principal. You know what I mean? We know where Barry stands. You shared with us where you stand. You shared with us where your non-negotiables are. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I understand you have three daughters. Two
Mhm.
go to one school, another goes to a second school. You know what I mean? You're responsible for pickup and drop off. You're responsible for extracurricular activities. You know what's important to you.
Mhm.
You know Barry. You don't know Miss New Principal,
Mm.
but you want to get to know Miss New Principal. Hey, Miss So-and-so, any chance I could get a one-on-one on your calendar so that we could sit down and have a, and have a meeting, have a get to know you. You sent the invite. That's all Barry is in control of. That's all Barry can control.
I'm
You,
writing that because that's actually an issue that I had with my other principal because we would put stuff on the calendar. But all right, we're gonna meet Wednesday, 10 o'clock. Boom, Wednesday, 10 o'clock roll around. Going with the wind.
right.
Like so, I do, but like again, last year I was new. This year it's like, nah, bro. Like this is when we gonna meet. We're gonna meet at 10. I'm in your office at 9:55. We're gonna have this meeting today. It's not gonna go off into the wind somewhere. So I need a standing meeting with it. Because again, like to me, what I learned last year is like you get out of step with the school leader and they're off on the island somewhere, and then I'm off on.
Darn. Oh, there you go.
You back, my man.
There you go.
Oh,
He's
sorry
back.
about
All
that. Shaky signal.
right.
Right.
That's that
Um,
hurricane. Hey, keep on going.
yeah, but we off on islands, and I'm like, I want to make sure we have a standing meeting where we can stay on the same page.
No, I think I think that's great. And I think sharing your past experiences would be, what I
Mm,
mean, a good thing to do as well, so that what I mean, she knows where you're coming from. I would like to get back into, you do know your non-negotiables,
mhm,
um, but without knowing hers.
mhm.
So again, much like April shared with you, what are your thoughts on the inquisitive approach, the curious? Hey, you've got X amount of years experience um, in this, in education, um, and how would you, how do you balance, what I'm saying, homework? How do you balance home and work?
I think that's brilliant. Like what I know about her, I think giving her a stage, because in the same way I want to be heard and seen properly, flipping it around and like, okay, I'm pretty sure she wants to be seen outside of like what the media says she is. Like the media or the folks have her painted a certain way. She's probably like, but no, this is the real me.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like giving her a space to be like, well, tell me who you are, and then show me who you are. Like you gonna tell me a whole lot of things, but like I need to see it. So like I said, I want to see, I want to believe in the best in this person. I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. I've never worked with her. I think I, based on her years of experience, I should be able to like learn a lot from her expertise. But again, a lot of this work is not even like the work part of it, it's the heart part of it for me. Like,
Right.
where's your heart at? Like, because kids gonna cuss you out. They're gonna call you all kinds of names, and how many motherfuckers you gonna be before you throw in the towel? And like, you know what I'm saying? So, where's her heart at, and what does that look like over the course of a school year? And then I can figure out how to be my full self as a parent and as a school leader once I know like where her perspective is, because I'm treating it as an opportunity. I'm like, well, listen, like she needs a redemption story, right? So it's going to be important for like if we can have success in school, a lot of that is she's going to rely on me, to be quite honest with you, because I have the other assistant principal, she out the door, so it's going to be me and her, and I have a great relationship with the staff, students, family, so it's going to be important for us to have a rock solid relationship, because if it goes south for me, I doubt that she'll be able to turn teachers in her favor, parents in her favor, kids in her favor, just because her reputation. And I don't know if she got. You need to have a special something to connect with our folks, and I don't know if it's there yet.
Well, I appreciate you sharing again. Thank you. So I'm hearing, I'm going to share back what I heard. So what
Mhm.
I'm hearing is that Barry Wilkins is not going to use a 30-second cell phone video clip of a person to formulate an opinion.
Okay.
He's going to allow the invitation of a meeting to
Mhm.
get an invitation of a meeting to create an opportunity to get to know his new principal. Is
Mhm.
that what I heard?
Exactly. Exactly right.
Fantastic. Because once you have this meeting and you are able to ask those important questions or those questions that are important to you, you name them. What are your thoughts about school community partnership? You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? How do you feel about the school being a hub to the community, being a hub of resource? That's what I heard is important to Barry. You know what
It
I'm
is
saying? That's what
like
I heard.
you're
So
right.
you're now going to ask this person who the SDP deemed fit and suitable to
Mhm.
lead Feltonville, you know what I'm saying? Arts and sciences. So now you are going to ask those important questions. And
Absolutely.
how do you feel about that?
I feel great about it because this might sound crazy, but I love difficult conversations because you have now we got to keep it 100. Like we can't dance around things. So it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be difficult. But the other side of that, we can, we'll be in a better place than because I don't want to be playing no games. Like I said, this work is hard. We're gonna be rolling up our sleeves. I'm not walking around on eggshells. You know what I'm saying? Like I know what I bring to the table. Like you were saying earlier, like tomahawk steak over here, baby.
Yes,
So
sir.
I know what I bring to the table. And so I want to be at my best. Like I'm not, use me like use me to your full advantage, right? And let's make sure our missions align. Again, I'm in service to young people. I'm also in service to the principal, but like use me to your best advantage. And let's put our egos aside and just get with the business of, really developing these young folks.
No, that's what's up. That's what's up. Um, I believe, and so I just want to circle back to where we started and where we are now. I have it in my notes, but correct me if I'm wrong. But I thought you said you didn't in this meeting. You did not want to come across as aggressive.
Yes.
You use that, right? That's what you said. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So after during this coaching session, we've talked about opportunities where we can have this meeting be more inquisitive. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? More curious based, you wanting to get to know. Um, how does that align with you not wanting to come across aggressive? Do you think that meets the goal that you were out to set?
Yeah, because even how you read me earlier, you're like, "Ooh, that sounds like anger," or that feels like anger or is frustration. I'm not good at like hiding my frustrations, and I don't want to push her off as we're just starting to establish ourselves. So I think having the mindset of like asking questions, um, and literally diving into like, well, what is this new leader's North Star? Because I generally want to know. Um, like, you know, approaching it from like more of an inquisitive standpoint versus of like, okay, here's what I stand for. This is what it's got to be. You know, this space has given me an opportunity to just sort of vent a little bit and take the edge off because I can't have this conversation with like folks just don't understand if they're not in education. But I also can't have this conversation with like my school folks because it's just some things they just can't be a part of. Like this is more about like because at the end of the day, she and I are school leadership. Like at the end of the day, so we kind of have to keep our arm's length distance from. Not to say we can't connect with people on a human level, but like we got to have our own little Nostra Lostra or whatever, like our own mafia, and keep it tight and keep it frank and transparent. And we got to be in pocket, and that rhythm has to start now before the school year gets off the rails and we have all these pressures on us and all these eyeballs on us and da 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 da. So starting that journey by asking questions, I'm looking forward to that because I'm curious. I'm actually curious to know, like, who are you? Like, what do you stand for? Like, why this school? Because she wanted this school in particular.
Mm.
And yeah, I feel good about that. I feel like the connection, like you said, the connection is just really, I need her to know who I am. She needs to know who I am. I mean, I need to know who she is so we can really build together. So taking that approach, I think will unlock that conversation, and it won't be tense. I mean, it's going to get, some things are going to be tense because we may not see eye to eye on things, but at least we can, as long as you know where I stand, I think she'll be fine.
All right. So I feel like you have a solid plan. Do you feel like you have a solid plan?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Right. Do you need any assistance? Do you need any assistance from me to execute the plan?
Yeah, like this is a great place for like just maintenance and just staying on point, like just having it, because I don't know how things are going to evolve. Like, so we should have this conversation again when I actually meet her and I know what I'm dealing with. Um, and we can use the conversations like, oh damn, what were you most nervous about? Well, the thing I was most nervous about was her being a complete jackass. Turns out she's fantastic. So maybe it's, hopefully we're having that conversation.
Right. Awesome. All right. So any particular timetable work best for you? How far out would you like to go?
Let's start in like 2 weeks.
All right. Well, Barry, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.
See you in 2.
I mean, yet again, I mean, just a strong conversation. Yet again, I mean, going back to what Jerome said earlier about a coaching carousel, that it can be difficult because you are feeding on what the previous coach has said, and what they have done. What I absolutely love is how this conversation started on core values, really blossomed about core values, and even ended about core values. And that's very difficult to do in a coaching carousel, to really name that, notice that, and to really trace that. Again, it speaks to maturity of the coaching conversation, and I think it really came in April's part where again, Jerome was like, I noticed that pivot when you said X, right? And it sounded like it was again related to the core values, related to what are your values, and how is this particular situation compromising your values, and what do you typically do when your values are being compromised in this particular situation? That's coaching, right? Because it goes beyond just the problem that they're experiencing, and it goes into what they're actually dealing with on a day-to-day like level. Like if this was another person that compromised this particular value that they're experiencing, and how would they respond to that, right? So you all really kind of help to lift the conversation even further up, which I thought was like super, super strong at y'all being able to do that. Only again, yet a coach who is experienced can really see those things. So y'all are really starting again to really hone in on those things. Barry, how did you feel about that? I know we're definitely over time, but Barry, how did you feel about those? And then any thoughts that folks had before we close out?
I just thought, like, April, you just unlocked a whole thing for me, because I was like in a pretty dark place. I'm like, I'm gonna let this lady go no. But then it was like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
maybe I should turn it around and make it more of a
Mm-hmm.
tell me more about you. And then that
Mm-hmm.
invites a conversation about me. And the tone will be way different. So thank you for that. Cause I was like, I don't even know, because I don't even know when this lady's going to parachute into my building. I don't know what it's going to be about. But the little
Yeah.
bit that I do know about her, she got an ego. She's like, she's tough as nails. And like, I want to penetrate some of that by tell me more about tell me how you said, man, you've been so successful in the district. Like, how are you striking that work-life balance, right? You come from this magnet school. What kind of strategies can we deploy here with this school community? So I thank you for that.
Yeah,
And
because
then
that wasn't in your core values. That's not how you would naturally respond, right? And so
yeah,
like April really did get you back to, wait, who are you naturally? Who are you at your core? How do we
mhm.
move on to that? Because it's like this is not who you are in your core to respond in that manner? And how would you feel if somebody else responded that way, is what Jerome did? But again, even going back to, I'm going to go to Randy too, which is, being able to draw that out at the beginning, like being comfortable and just you mentioned a few things at the beginning of the coaching conversation, but let's focus on this. Let's specifically focus on this. And I thought that was great. Really, really great.
And I
Yeah,
love
I
how
said
Randy gave
aha moment, and our notes. You said, like it was another aha moment, right? But again, I'm just feeding based off of what they did, literally what they did, which was great, really, really good.
Yeah, I love the choice at the beginning. Like, hey, you gave me all this stuff. Which one
Mhm,
feels heaviest? And
mhm.
like the part about my wife, that feels manageable. That feels like doable. Like
Yeah,
I feel like I got a solution for that. This I have no solution. Like
yeah.
I'm way outside of any sort of solution. But
Hmm.
again, like discovering her leadership style. And I love how April was like, you like curiosity. I do like curiosity. You right about that. You see
Yeah,
me, April.
yeah, that was
I was
good.
like, let's just reel in the spiral because it was.
That is so real. Well, anybody else have any further thoughts? Anything that's coming to mind, at top of mind for you all?
Just that this conversation felt really relevant. It just felt relevant. Yes, I need to make a plan to have a conversation with somebody. So this kind of got me in the right mindset, just thinking through how to approach things with people that you're not sure how they're gonna be.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a common challenge of many people in professional spaces.
Mm, okay.
Yeah.
I really disagree. And I'm gonna let you say that. No, no, but that is so true though. I mean, I
Yeah.
100% agree. And this is why we are leadership coaches.
Yes.
Because you really, I mean, say if somebody else experienced that same issue that Barry was experiencing, the answer is to lean on core values, and that's what you all did. How would you approach this? What is real about? Don't let them get you out of your own character, right? Like that was the biggest thing. Any other thoughts? Very good.
Very good.
All right, well, I'm about to go see the Lion King, you guys.
What?
Every time Barry is on, I mean, he talked about The Color Purple, on Broadway, and I was like, oh, you gotta go see it. I'm about to go see the Lion King for like this. This probably is my 12th time. I know it's 10 plus now seeing it on Broadway, but it's here in Charlotte and it's
It's
opening
so
night.
good.
And super
Have
excited.
fun. Have fun. I saw it in New York, man. That's a good show.
It's the best in New York because how Fire Rock come from the floor, but when it travels, it come from the side. Which I mean, again, I didn't seen it so much, so I would know.
The fact that you know that.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I don't know if y'all read the thing this morning. But Nala, the
The
King's
Lion
coach.
Coach. Yeah.
Yeah, the King's coach. Yeah. So that's part of, the thoughts around it is that being the King's coach. I really like her in the play. It's really good. Yeah.
Well, go
Yeah.
enjoy the play. This was a good
Enjoy
one,
your
y'all, for
lunch.
me to end on. Thank
Very
y'all. This was
good.
good. This was
Very,
good.
very good. Yeah, you
Awesome
all have a
job.
good one, and we'll chat.
All
All
right. Take
right.
care, friends.
Bye,
All right.
everyone.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See.